Hi, Andrew from Caravan here. This video is part of our instructional guides that we provide to our customers when out on hire, but we also hope that this will help anyone that has a caravan like this with, well, this particular oven or a gas oven that's very similar. So today we're in our Viscount Royal 16-foot caravan. It's a popular caravan that gets hired out a bit with us, and we just wanted to run through the basics of using the gas stove, and in particular the oven, because it can get a little bit confusing if you haven't used it before. So before we go through it, just a couple of notes. It's important that when you're not using the gas, that the gas bottle at the front of the caravan is turned off at all times, and turn it back on when you do want to use a gas appliance. And the reason we say that is obviously we have families with kids that hire our caravans out, and you don't want to have the situation where a child might walk past and fiddle with the knobs on here and turn that on. And I don't know if you can hear that, but that's got gas coming out of it. So just important to note that if you've got the gas on, make sure that the appliance you're using is supervised, and that's particularly important with the stove or the oven. Okay, so on to operation. The gas stovetop, as you can see, it's got 3 burners, and it works essentially identically to a stovetop that you'd have in a gas stove in a house. So just to demonstrate it, these obviously correspond to the different burners at the top. So if you want to use this middle one here, just push in, turn it on, and then use the gas match to start it. These classic ovens don't generally have an igniter. People might try to mistake this for being a igniter, but it's not, and it's actually used for the oven, which I'll show you in a second. Okay, so onto the oven. This is the thing that sometimes confuses people a little bit. We generally find that the ovens in the vans rarely get used. They're generally, if it's only short stays, people aren't going to be cooking a Sunday roast, for example. But if you want to use it, this is how you do it. So hopefully you guys can see in there okay. So what you're looking at in this oven is a burner that runs front to back in the middle there. And I'll just move this camera and see if I can show you inside a little bit better. At the back here, you've got a pilot light. So just keep that in mind with what I'm going to demonstrate. For people that aren't aware, a pilot light is essentially a light that will keep a small flame burning in the appliance, so that in this case the burner goes on and off with the thermostat, and that's what regulates the temperature of the oven. But in order to make sure that it can remain lit, it's got a little flame at the back that will always stay on. So that's important to keep in mind. So when you look at this knob here, it's currently set to pilots off. Now pilots off means that the oven is entirely off. So the gas supply to the burner and to the pilot light is off. Now in order to actually turn the oven on, you want to gently push this in and turn this around to just so it's set to a temperature on there. And then at the back here, as I mentioned, that's your pilot light. To light that, you push this in, that supplies gas to the pilot light, and make sure that you keep your hand away from the burner. Now this can take a little bit the first time you do it. And hopefully you can see in there, I'll turn the light off in a second, that you've now got the pilot light going. So I'll hold that on for a little bit, take my finger off. Now, it's important once you've got that pilot light lit, make sure that you take your hand away from the stove. Essentially what's going to happen is that this burner is going to come on, and that's what powers the oven. So I'll turn the light off, and ordinarily you would have the oven closed as soon as you light it, but just so that you can see inside there. Alright, there you go. So you can see the pilot light at the back, and you can see the main burner jet, which is now lit. I'll turn this back on. So essentially that's how the oven works. You got your temperature in here. So say we turn this down fairly low, what you'll notice is if this is closed, that'll heat up to that temperature, and then the main burner jet will turn off. Okay, so when you want to turn the oven off, actually sorry, firstly when you're using the oven, just one tip. We find if you put the tray quite low where the burner is, then it is easy to burn things in the middle, so it's generally better to have it up a little bit higher. But that's something that depends on what you're cooking. So, so as you can see there, that burner's gone off again, so it's trying to regulate the temperature. Now, in terms of turning the oven off, you might be able, oh, hopefully you can see here, there's a selection on this knob that says oven off. So if I turn that over there, that essentially means that that burner that runs along the middle will stay off. It doesn't turn the pilot light off though, and that's the important thing to remember. So hopefully you can see on the camera the pilot light's still lit. So the reason you'd use that is if you were cooking multiple things and you had 10 minutes between taking something out, putting something in the oven, and you just wanted to be able to turn it back on again and have the burner go without having to relight the pilot light. That's the situation you'd use that. You would use that selection, I should say. What you want to do if once you've finished using the oven, it's important to note that oven off isn't the right selection. You've got to actually go all the way back around and then pilot's off. And you'll notice when I do that, the pilot light's now off. Alright, I'll close that up. So that's essentially how you use it. Now I've finished using the oven, I'll go to the front of the Caravan and turn the gas bottle off, because we're currently running the fridge on electric. So hopefully that helps. If you've got any questions, obviously if you're out on hire, you're more than welcome to give us a call anytime, and we'll help you out. If you're watching this from somewhere else in the world, feel free to put a comment down below, and yeah, if you've got any questions, we'll try and help you out with that too. Alright, thanks for watching guys, hope this helps.